technology, and then I'll start asking the questions of what can make those different changes day in and day out. But
Mhm.
let's drive into the technology, because I love the fact that you said something about the DEXA scan. Not only is it inconvenient and it costs money, but the radiation. And I just did a podcast on the fact that thyroid cancer has exponentially increased due to more scans that people are doing, whether it's a mammogram or going to the dentist, or going through x-rays, or doing a DEXA scan. Any type of radiation, the thyroid is extremely susceptible to that. And the whole reason that you'd be doing a DEXA scan is to hopefully lose some body fat and gain some muscle. Well, with your thyroid getting damaged and more prone to cancer, you're not going to lose fat and you're not going to gain muscle. So that being said, this is where the body pod comes in, and with such extreme accuracy. So let's talk about the technology and its unique features compared to some of the other scales out there. There's the InBody. There's like 1,000 different ones. If you look up Amazon, and you can get a scale for $50 off of there. Where's the difference, and why? How did you get it to be so accurate?
Yeah, there's this old adage is just more data is more better. And that's the big differentiator, is that if you're getting a $50 scale off of Amazon, it's going to have only two electrodes in your feet, and it's going to send one frequency through your body. And honestly, it's not getting so we're sending a very, very, very small electrical signal, and we're traveling from one place to another. And what we're measuring is how much of that electricity is actually lost in that transference. So if you were just a solid copper wire, 99.9% of the electricity is making it through the other side. But you're not. You're made up of all these different components. And so as the electricity travels through you, some of it is lost. More would be lost from, say, bone or fat. Less would be lost through very conductive tissue like muscle. I mean, electricity is what makes your muscles contract. They're full of water. And so that little piece goes through, and they say, well, we lost about 30% of the signal. So you're about 30% fat, I guess. And you told us that you're a woman, and you said that you're 5'6". So you probably have, let me just look up in my table, you have this much bone. And that's it. That's the whole measurement. And honestly, I mean, if you're just looking for a ballpark measurement, you're going to land somewhere there. And in terms of measuring your trends, as long as you're not changing your bones, which most of us can't, I don't know anyone who can, you'll still be able to track if you're gaining or losing fat. But how much and where from, and were you even accurate to begin with? So you might hop on the scale as a bikini model and be told that you're 25% body fat. That's obviously wrong. Now, if you go on the Victoria's Secret diet and don't eat anything but a can of tuna and an apple for the next 5 weeks, yeah, you'll lose some body fat, but you'll still show up at 22% because you kind of started wrong, right? So what we're doing is we have 8 sensors. So there's 2 in both feet, and there's 2 in each hand. So right away, that's 4 times the number of channels. And then we're not doing one measurement. The different electrical frequencies travel through tissues at different rates and at different speeds. So the higher frequency ones, those will penetrate cells. And so we can actually measure what the intracellular water. So that's the water that you find inside your muscles. And we also do the lower frequency ones, which can't do that. And that'll travel through that extracellular water. So that's the stuff that you feel when you're bloated. And so we're taking all the different measurements, as I mentioned before, all those different angles, and we're measuring at all those different frequencies at 20, 50, 70, and 80. And each one of those is going to give us a different result, how much fat we went through. And then within that, was it visceral or was it subcutaneous? How much muscle, how much bone? And when we layer all that, because honestly, each one will paint a slightly different picture, you do get that really clear image that forms, like I said, when you just stack everything on top of it. One of it is the most true. Some a little bit fuzzy to the left, some a little bit fuzzy to the right, some fuzzy, but the middle is the true you. And so with all those different sensors, with all those different channels, we're just going to get that really crystal clear picture of not just the different tissue types, but the segments and everything like that.